the last 24 hours, we have been covering the story of the Pac-12, trying to get that new media deal done. We're also see the Pac-12 are trying to possibly expand with San Diego State and SMU. And of course, the story of the Big 12. Continuing trying to poach from the Pac-12. Possible expansion from Gonzaga to strengthen their already best basketball conference in the country. Today on episode 149, we're going to turn our eyes to the SEC because this affects them as well. Oklahoma and Texas, late breaking news. We covered it on our live show last night. Texas and Oklahoma are leaving a year early to join the SEC in 2024. So the SEC has a decision to make on their scheduling. Welcome to episode 149 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we truly love everything in college football. And if you do as well, if you need that extra content to get you through the day, subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. We're going to go to the great Ross Dellenger SI article that came out late last night. SEC faces decision on new schedule format with early editions of Texas and Oklahoma. There's a surprise in this article. That's why we're talking about it on episode 149. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below the video. Put down what you're thinking because I'm going to give you what I'm thinking. And it's a surprise to me what this article indicates. Again, SEC faces decision on new schedule format with early editions of Texas and Oklahoma. College football's premier conference could adopt a 9-game model, at least 9 games, if ESPN ups its ante. Here's what it could look like. That word if, we're going to see it again in this article. We're not going to go through the whole article. I'm going to give you the bullet points. There will be a link in the description box below the video. But that word if shows up again. If ESPN ups its ante. If they do, I thought for sure they would without question. But I guess there is a question. I guess there is a mystery around that decision. We continue with the article. After a year of debating the subject, SEC administrators are growing closer to finally making a decision on what could be a significant change to the structure of the football schedules in the country's most successful league by far. SEC athletic directors are expected to make a decision on a future format this spring, possibly as soon as their annual gathering on the Florida Panhandle in March. Last spring, the league narrowed more than 30 scheduling models to 2 divisionless formats. SEC going divisionless, no surprise there. An 8-game format where teams play 1 permanent opponent and 7 rotating opponents, the 1-7 model. And the other option, a 9-game format where teams play 3 permanent opponents and 6 rotating, 3-6 format. Administrators continue to lean toward a 9-game model, but there is still an unanswered question that lingers over any decision. If the conference moves to a 9-game conference schedule, will ESPN give the SEC additional revenue? You mean there's a question on that? ESPN could possibly stop and not give the SEC more additional revenue? Wow, that's a surprise to me. SEC, the most powerful football conference in the country, the most valuable sports athletic conference in the country. And if they go to 9 games, ESPN might not give them more money, even with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma joining the conference. If they of course they would want to go to 9 games, but they might not get more money because of that. Let's go back into the article. Last May, league administrators delayed a vote on the scheduling format at their annual spring meetings because of a host of uncertainties. Number one, the timeline for the Texas and Oklahoma's arrival. Well, that's been accomplished. That happened last night. Number two, the college football playoff expansion. That's been accomplished, at least for the 2024 and 2025 season. Again, we emphasize this. We do not know what's going to happen in 2026 and beyond. We know there's the great gold rush of 2026, as we call it here at Peek Around the Corner, but we do not know what that format looks like. Number three, the tie-breaking procedures for a divisionless conference. And number four, ESPN revenue. Again, the question, will ESPN ante up if they expand to 9 conference games? And then finally, many of those items are now known. However, while most feel, they don't know, while most feel that ESPN will increase the TV revenue if they go to 9 conference games, it remains somewhat of a mystery. If more revenue comes, a 9-game model seems like a formality. If more revenue does not come, maybe the league remains at 8. As in the case with much of college sports, a TV network's decision determines the future course of action. Holy smokes. I thought it was a formality. I got to tell you here, Peek Around the Corner. We thought this was all locked in, that they were going to go to 9. SEC was definitely going to go to the 9-game conference schedule. Remember here in the last few months, it's been reported that there's been somewhat of a fracture in the SEC in regarding to this single issue, that some schools wanted to keep at an 8-game conference schedule because some schools, like half of them in the SEC, like in every conference, have a difficulty becoming bowl eligible to getting to 6 wins, and they want less conference games. They want to keep the 4 non-conference games. They want some weak games in the schedule to get some wins. But the other half of the SEC, they want the 9-game conference schedule. Nick Saban talks about it over and over and over again. He wants that 9-game conference schedule in the SEC. We're going to be looking at a 12-team playoffs here in 2024, 2025. We might be looking at a 16-team playoffs in 2026 and beyond. The at-large bids that are given out, one of the criteria would be the strength of schedule, and there's no stronger strengths of schedule than in the SEC. So there was already a split here, but most people thought eventually the Nick Saban faction of the SEC, of course, would win out. And the administrators of the SEC wants a 9-game conference schedule. Greg Sankey wants a 9-game conference schedule. So it looks like it was going to happen. But now we see this Ross Dellenger article, and the ESPN has not committed themselves to anteing up to give the ESPN more money for the 9-game conference schedule. Even with the inclusion of Oklahoma and Texas, it's still a mystery. Wow, that's a shocker here at Peek Around the Corner. Let me know what you think. Let me know, will it get done? Will there be a 9-game conference schedule? Will ESPN ante up to give money to their most valuable college property, by far, the SEC? I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this Ross Dellenger article to be showcasing that it is still a mystery. Will ESPN ante up? We're going to be covering this story. And of course, we're going to continue to cover the story of the Pac-12 and the Big 12. We're going to be doing a live show later today. I don't know what time. What happens on the ground will show us when we should do a live show. So stick with us. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to Flug Empire at Twitter. We'll give you a heads up on when our next live show is. Last night was just gigantic. The PATC community was brilliant once again. So join us here at Peek Around the Corner. Until next time, which is going to be very soon. From all of us at Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.